everybody, it's Dave the Red Pill Coach, and I'm back again for another week to talk to you guys about how to make your life better and how to make your relationships work. So last time I talked about the Four Horsemen, spent 2 episodes on that, and I want to just reiterate, guys, this is dangerous stuff. We're playing with fire, and I don't want you guys to get burned. So be careful. When I say use stonewalling, I mean be very, very, very careful, and only do it for a short period of time and only in response to very specific issues that you identify and you address on a regular basis. So we're not talking about stonewalling to punish the wife or to well, it is technically punishment if you go by a behavioral paradigm. That is to say, you're decreasing a behavior. You're doing it to decrease a behavior. So technically it's punishment, but I would like you to not think of it in that way, guys. I would like you to think of it in terms of behavior and response. Take the emotion out of it. Don't be butthurt when you do this, because it's not going to work. It's going to work against you. So that's my warning for that. Now I got a couple of announcements. First of all, this video is not going to be another Gottman video. There's an issue I've been wanting to address for some time now. AWALT and NAWALT. So we're going to talk about AWALT, NAWALT, and special snowflakes. A long time ago, I sent a message, or I commented on Rollo Tomasi's blog, The Rational Male, and I asked him, what is the difference between AWALT and NAWALT? What characteristics specifically are AWALT and what are NAWALT? And for those of you who don't know, AWALT is Manosphere shorthand. It means all women are like that. That is to say, all women are like that. AWALT does not mean all women are exactly like that, and there are exceptions. It's used a couple different ways in the manosphere. If, for example, a person is complaining about their wife, she won't do this, she does this, that, whatever, the common response is AWALT. All women are like that. Again, does not mean all women are exactly like that. It simply means they're like that. So I think the most common way AWALT is used is as a shorthand for the 95% of women who are, in fact, almost exactly like that. Are there exceptions? Yeah, there's exceptions to everything. We got about 0.5% of the population, folks, that is born with a vagina and a penis. They're hermaphrodites. So where do they fit in this typology and nomenclature? I don't know. No idea where they fit in. But when we say AWALT, we mean about 95% of women. All women are like that. About 95% of women are like that. So don't give me the exceptions and the this and the that. All women are like that. And I'm going to identify what characteristics all women are like. And then we're going to go and talk about another manosphere term called NAWALT. NAWALT. Not all women are like that. So we've got AWALT, all women are like that, and NAWALT. Not all women are like that. And NAWALT is used in a couple different ways in the manosphere as well. NAWALT it's synonymous with the unicorn. The special snowflake who's out there, who will be sweet and kind, who won't bust your balls, who doesn't turn down sex, who's just a wonderful, sweet, kind person. Of course, NAWALTs typically are what we call fiancés. They're women who are on their best behavior, looking to get married, and then once they lock down a guy, guess what? They're not as interested in being a special snowflake or a unicorn any longer, and the guy realizes that his NAWALT is really an AWALT. Another way guys use it is, or actually girls use it, NAWALT is the most common response to anything you say in public about women, anything negative you say about women. will be met with a hoarse cry of NAWALT! Not all women are like that. Yeah, we know. We get it. I just said 95% of women, so it's not all. It's just most. This, of course, is an example of a particularly pernicious example of female in-group preference. That is to say, women favor women over men by about 6 to 1, the studies show. And of course, men favor women by about 4 to 1. It's men's out-group preference. So women cannot stand to hear anything negative about women, and their immediate response will always be NAWALT. Not all women are like that. You know, I know a person who didn't cheat on their husband. Well, good for you. That's great. Not all women are like that, but they really are. They are like that. So there are no NAWALTs, and to the extent that you think you have a NAWALT, a unicorn, or a special snowflake, you often find that she's nothing of the sort. She's actually a paper. Instead of a corn, they got little, you know, those toilet rolls on their head, duct taped to make you think it's a horn. So that's what a NAWALT is. It's what women will say if you criticize women. And of course, that's first thing they'll say. The second thing they'll say is, but men are like that too. And yeah, we're humans. We have common characteristics. But we're focusing on the differences and the actionable differences between the genders. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. AWALT and NAWALT do not describe behaviors. Because of course, when, for example, someone cheats on their husband, people will in the mail, AWALT, oh, all women are like that. Well, no, they're not. Not all women cheat. Not all women are unpleasant to be around. Not all women change after they get married. But many do. And a whole lot do. And you need to be aware, really, of the consequences of issues like AWALT and NAWALT. You need to be aware of what drives it and what they actually mean. So let's cover it right now. What is all women are like that? So again, it's not specific behaviors that are described by AWALT and NAWALT. It is predilections and the propensity to do certain behaviors, like cheat. All women are like that. All women are likely to cheat if you do not provide a sufficient level of attractive alpha for her. It's a fact. AWALT. All women are like that. Again, it doesn't mean all women will cheat. It just means they're like that. You need to be aware that if you are not alpha enough in the relationship, if you're not leading the marriage, you are in thin ground. Because that's the kind of guy that gets cheated on. It's not an AWALT, but the likelihood and the possibility of you getting cheated on increases measurably, inversely proportional to what kind of leader you are and how attractive you are. It's the way women work. So cheating is not an AWALT or a NAWALT. What is? As I say, it's a predilection to cheat. And what is it that determines that? Well, Rollo and a few other people in the Manosphere have identified several AWALT characteristics of women. Again, these are characteristics, these are general trends. And the first characteristic is hypergamy. Hypergamy, but some people pronounce it hypergamy. I think it's hypergamy. And what it means is that women want to marry up. And of course, you raise this in mixed couple, in mixed circles, and immediately, well, men are like that too. Well, yeah, they are. Men want to marry up. A man wants the hottest girl he can get. He wants her body. He wants to possess her. He wants to penetrate her. That's what men are all like that. But women are different. Yes, they want to marry up, but it's not as straightforward with men. Men, you look at the hip to waist ratio, 0.7, and a few other characteristics, really, breasts and not very much else. A pleasant face, long hair, all these things. They indicate what? They indicate fertility. They indicate the ability to have babies and to nurse babies. That's why men like breasts. Evolutionarily speaking, women with larger breasts are able to nurse babies. Women with small, tiny breasts who are malnourished, for example, don't have an easy time nursing babies. So you can see that this is definitely an AWALT. All women are like that. All men are like that. We all want to marry the highest value mate we can find. We want to make babies with the highest value mate we can find. But it means something different for boys and for girls. For boys, as I say, it means the hip ratio, how she looks, she's hot, boom! You pass the boner test, I'm good. I'm there, I can impregnate you, and then move on to the next woman. Well, if you think about it, women can't do that. Women have to be more selective in selecting their mate and who they're going to have babies with and who they're going to have sex with. Why? Because it takes them a year of gestation. It takes a lot more energy. A man just and see ya. And 8-10 months later, baby comes out. No more effort. A woman requires a lot more effort, so she is going to take more effort in finding a mate. And therefore, the hypergamy of women is much more dire and much more extreme than the hypergamy of men. Furthermore, not only is it much more extreme and much more calculating, women do not look at the same things in a man. Yeah, they look at the chiseled jaw and the beard, whatever, all the masculine characteristics. But they also need beta characteristics to raise a baby. You can't raise a baby with the alpha who's screwing you and then going and screwing a bunch of different girls. You need a little bit of beta there, a little bit of provider, a little bit of helper, a little bit of, foo-foo man, to give her assurances that you're going to be around to take care of her babies. And it's, again, this is all subconscious. Women don't actually think this. It's not a conscious thought process. But it is unconscious, and that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with unconscious motivations. And women are unconsciously motivated to marry up, but who they want to marry is alpha and beta. And there's a Manosphere axiom which applies here, and that's alpha fucks, beta bucks. What do women want? They want alpha fucks. They want a man, a strong, chiseled, weightlifting stud to impregnate them, and then they want Billy Beta, the beta bucks, to stay around and to provide the support and the money that she needs to raise a baby. Okay? Men are not like that. Men just care how a woman looks. Newsflash, ladies, no man cares about your salary. No man cares what your job is, or in most cases, how interesting you are to talk to. They care how you look. They care if you have a pleasant voice. They care if you're not a bitch. That's it. That's it. Women, they got the alpha fucks and beta bucks, so they care about the chisel jaw and the weightlifting and the stud, but they also care about other things associated with raising and taking care of babies, which men provide to women. So that's the dual mating strategy of women, and it makes a profound difference in how they view hypergamy and how they experience hypergamy, and yes, how women experience love. Women experience love differently than men. I know that's a shock to some of you, but it's 100% true. Don't doubt me. So how does this look through the life cycle of a woman? Well, Rollo again wrote a book on that. It's Irrational Male Part 3. And really fascinating stuff. He traces the life history of a woman, and a woman between the ages of basically 13. We'll say 18 to avoid, any problems, but we know what's going on, folks. Between the ages of 13 and about 28, women are rock stars. They're studs. They can get any guy they want to have sex with them. Any guy. Unless they're fat and gross or whatever. But if they're a normal-looking woman, they're stars. They can get any guy to bang them. What they can't get, necessarily, with their looks alone, is to get a guy to commit to them. That requires a little bit more finesse. And we have not trained women to have any finesse, and we've basically trained women out of the whole notion that they have to be active participants in the seduction process. And then they turn 28, And all of a sudden, they reach the epiphany stage. And what does that mean? It means that they realize, oh, whoa, I'm not getting any younger. My eggs are already half gone by the age, yeah, that's right. A woman's eggs are half dead. Half of them are dead by the time she's 28. So when a woman hits the age of 28, and it's a magical age, because we call that the wall. That's when the sexual market value of men continues to go up, and then at age 28, it continues to go up. Women, it starts to drop like a stone. That's what happens. And a woman can screw around and she can fool herself and still screw whoever she wants till she's 30, 31, 32, 33. But then she realizes, uh-oh, I haven't consolidated on my hypergamy yet. I don't have a man, not only to impregnate me, that's easy to get, I don't have a man to take care of me when the baby needs, and the baby needs to be taken care of, it needs a father. So a woman starts at 32, maybe 34, 35, and thinking, oh, I can just get a man. Oh, whoops. Wow, I've been an entitled bitch all my life. I've been able to snap my fingers, and men appear and throw themselves at me. Now all of a sudden they're not throwing themselves at me. And wait a minute, I rejected all those men who threw themselves at me because I wasn't done whoring around. That's right. When you're not done whoring around, you reject Mr. Right. And then Mr. Right goes and marries someone else. And what happens is, when you're 32, 33, all of a sudden, Mr. Right is not the same quality of guy who was hitting on you when you were 24. All of a sudden, Mr. Right has a pot belly. He maybe doesn't go to the gym. Maybe he's a little beta. And the woman ends up having to settle. Oh, the worst fate for a woman, to settle. You know, like men don't have to settle their entire lives, but we'll play the game. So women have to lock down a beta. They have to lock down a beta. They can't get the mythical alpha because he's out. She's 32, now he's out banging 22-year-olds. Wait, what happened? Yeah, what happened is you hoard away your best years. You gave your best years to other men who just wanted to use your body and didn't want to commit to you. And now you want to commit to a man. And that would be fine. It wouldn't be so bad. And we wouldn't be so bitter about it in the Manosphere, except for one tiny fact. Women who settle lose sexual interest fairly quickly. Within a year or two, we see on the Married Red Pill blog, a lot of times guys, they're engaged. They're not even married yet, and she pulls the pin and says, oh, I don't want to have sex. Starts turning him down and playing this sexual denial game. If she can. Again, she'll only play this game if she can. And the purpose of this video series is to teach you guys how to avoid that trap. The way this looks in the real world, and the way it evolved, is another Rollo piece called War Brides. This is something I read in the Manosphere, and it for all intents and purposes blew me away. It destroyed my whole vision of women, because if you look at it from an evolutionary perspective, what do women do? Well, they are, historically, they were wives and mothers. And what did men do? Well, historically, they were soldiers. They had swords and they fought. And what happened when a city fell, as it often did in ancient times? What happened? Well, the men came in, they slaughtered all the men. They killed them all. And what did they do with the women? Well, they fucked them. They screwed them. They got them pregnant. And there was one group of women who said, no, I'm not going to submit. I refuse these barbarian warrior pigs. I'll kill myself before I submit. So she cuts her throat and falls dead at the feet of her husband and children. Okay, well, what about the women who did survive? Well, they stepped over the bodies of their children and their sons and their husbands, and they opened their arms and embraced their new conquerors. That's what happened. Women who did that had babies. Women who did not do that were killed. What that means is we are descended from women who submitted to strong men. and women who were able to get over loving familial relationships very quickly. So that's what we have. That's one of the differences between men and women. Women get over relationships very quickly. Men do not. And in fact, about 60,000 men kill themselves every year. The vast majority of those over a woman, right? Women almost never kill themselves over men. Now, does that mean women are stronger? That's what the feminists will tell you. Or could it mean that women are actually weaker and that they simply want to submit to a strong man? So ask yourself, are you that strong man? Are you the type of man that a woman would want to willingly submit to? Are you the type of man who will stand over his family and get stabbed in the back by the warrior when he breaks into your house? Or are you the type of man who will stand up and fight to the death? There's two types of men and there's two types of women in the world. And I would suggest that you are descended, just like women are descended from women who submitted. Men are descended from men who conquered and won the battle. That's your ancestry. That is where you come from. So know that and don't forget it, guys. And next week we will get back to Gottman and we will cover the beginnings of a whole series in how to argue with a wife. We will start out with startups. How to start a conversation with a soft startup instead of a harsh startup. So we'll see you next week, and thank you very much, guys.
I can't do this all on my own. No, I know I'm no Superman.